There is a dark confession hidden in the afterword of Violet Evergarden. For the third straight winter, a young woman stood in the frost at Hokkaido Jingu Shrine. She didn't wish for luck. She didn't pray for happiness. She came to make a trade. Make me a novelist, she wished. In exchange, let no one ever love me again. A few months later, her prayers were answered. A package arrived at the door of her apartment. It was the prestigious Kyoto Animation Award. She had just one thought. Finally, I have sold my soul. The woman's name was Kana Akatsuki, and the price she believed she paid to bring Violet Evergarden into this world was her own heart. This is the story of one of the greatest love stories ever told, written by someone who exchanged her own ability to be loved just to bring it into the world, and why it completely reframes how we experience this masterpiece. This is the afterword of Violet Evergarden Volume 1, a letter in which Kana Akatsuki lays out the terms of her life. She believed she had to make a choice, the dream or the heart. She was willing to make that trade. She was willing to be a great novelist, even if it meant she could never form connections again. But for some reason I couldn't yet put into words. Reading Akatsuki's vow gave me a great sense of unease. And more than that, it felt uncomfortably familiar. Why did this feel so unsettling? And it was then I realized where the source of the discomfort came from. It was hidden in plain sight. Right inside the story, Kana Akatsuki had exchanged her heart to write. So I went back to Violet Evergarden, looking for that source of unease. And I think I found it. With her. Violet Evergarden enters the story not as a person, but as a weapon. An orphan raised on the battlefield, she was never taught how to be human, only how to obey and kill. Once the war ends, everyone else starts moving on with their lives. Violet doesn't. She stays in that same shape, useful, quiet, disciplined. But there's still one mission she's holding on to. A single, unsolved order left behind by the only person who mattered to her. Please, live. I love you. But Violet is unable to understand, so she becomes an auto-memory doll, someone who writes letters for others, hoping that if she can decode the feelings of those she writes letters for, she will be able to understand the Major's final order. But at first, Violet approaches the job the only way she knows how, as a soldier. She treats emotion like a mission objective. A client arrives, trembling with grief. Violet listens. She types. She records. But she fails. Because she writes reports, not letters. She captures the words, but kills the meaning. And Violet thinks she is failing because she does not know the right vocabulary. But we watch her later, alone, staring at her metal hands. Something is missing. This is where that feeling of unease I felt starts to materialize. As Violet continues to take jobs for clients, getting exposed to different kinds of emotion, she slowly discovers what is the essence of an auto-memory doll. Connection. People don't come to her because they need good grammar. They come because they want to be heard. And they need someone who can carry their feelings to the person who matters most. And slowly, letter by letter, Violet realizes that the pain sitting across the desk, every sister missing a brother, every mother missing a child, they are all mirrors. And she realizes that to do this job, she has to let their pain touch hers. If she wants to understand the Major's final order, she needs to connect. Then, one day, Violet realizes that she loves him, and now he is gone. This moment where Violet feels and can understand the full weight of what she feels, of her love, loss, and burden. It is heartbreaking, but beautiful. And it is also proof that connection allowed her to turn from something that functions into someone who can understand. Proof that connecting allowed her to grieve, to care for others, to allow others to care for her, and to care for herself. By letting the world in, Violet heals and becomes whole. But Violet's profound journey and destination is exactly the source of that inherent wrongness I felt seeing Kana Akatsuki's vow. Because while Violet learns that connection is what makes her human, the woman writing her is convincing herself that connection is what she has to sacrifice to write. And as she receives the Kyoto Animation Awards, she stands still, moored under the weight of that equivalent exchange, wrestling with the terrifying, quiet certainty where she no longer has the right to be loved, the right to connect. But she is wrong. We don't know much about Kana Akatsuki. She has spent her career as a ghost, an intensely private person, but the few fragments she had shared paint a tragic picture. A woman who had spent so long in the cold that trading away her heart was an act that required little to no hesitation. And in this rare, raw glimpse into her psyche, she provides the final piece that confirms this picture. But then, something unexpected happens. For the first time in her life, Kana Akatsuki stops running. She stands still and looks back at the girl in the frost who thought her heart was a fair price for a dream. Instead of the isolation she expected, the story she poured her life into, her grief, her gratitude, her resolve, did the exact opposite. Violet Evergarden, she said, bestowed several forms of love onto her hands. Through the letters from fans who saw themselves in her grief, to the unexpected kindness of those who helped bring her story to life, she realized that she had been a fool, arriving at the same truth Violet did, that no matter how much hurt you are in, you cannot survive in the cold alone. You have to connect. Kana Akatsuki then leaves the afterword with something profound. To anyone who's read up to this point that does not wish for tomorrow to come, please don't give in. I'm cheering for you. I also really want to be cheered. And this message from Akatsuki, I think, epitomizes what truly great stories are. They are vessels for connection, something an author, a musician, a filmmaker pours their everything, their grief, hardships, their quietest hopes, into the world. These stories fly out to find the people who need them the most, but then something even more profound happens. They allow us to reach back. The story becomes a tether that pulls both the creator and the reader out of the dark. It is the living proof that in the act of being heard, and in the act of listening, none of us are ever truly alone. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Violet Evergarden is genuinely one of the most beautiful series I've ever seen, and not just for its visuals, but how carefully it treats love, loss, and the act of putting feelings into words. I think what made it even more meaningful after making this video is how closely Kana Akatsuki's own thoughts and experiences feel tied to the story. Thanks again for watching, and until next time.